Hi, I would like to explain the situation right now, because I did release an announcement, and I apologize if this is a little bit, not the best explanation because this happened literally a few minutes ago. So, this thing has been going on for about like 2 weeks now, and it's gotten to a point where um, I was forced to um, put into a situation where I had to pack up my stuff and leave my home, and I didn't know where I was going. I had no idea where I was gonna go. Um, and it's just been going on for 2 weeks, and it's a lot of things um, that led to this point where I literally had all my bags packed, and um, yeah. So I'm filming this video now because um, my dad. So I had my bags packed and everything, and I had my phone charging while I was packing, and I got everything, and I started walking with my flashlight in the dark, and I didn't know where to go. And my first reaction was to walk to the police and ask them, do I go to homeless shelter or do I seek, you know, counseling? Or was like, I honestly didn't know what to do. And so I walked in the dark for a long time in the cold. And then my dad pulled up in his car and said that we would talk about it. So we went home, and this is me after he drove me home, and we sat down and we had a proper conversation. And so now I am just waiting to, I explained everything to him, and now I'm just waiting to move into my own place because that's the next step for me. And yeah, um, so I'll kind of explain what's been going on. So during those 2 weeks, um, my dad's friend was interested in adopting a dog, um, and it was like a 2 month um, old puppy. And you know, my dad brought the dog back home one day and said we're babysitting it for a day, and we thought nothing of it. And um, but like 10 o'clock rolls around and I don't see his friend anywhere. So like I heard my mom saying that she doesn't think we should raise this dog because it's not our place, because we didn't adopt the dog in the first place. So I try to um, resolve the problem and take it into my own hands. So I try to ask my mom for her phone so I could call his friend to check what was going on. And then suddenly my dad gets mad at me and he says that do I need your permission to keep this dog? And I had no idea before that he had plans to keep this dog. So then the next day, that night, he locked the dog with him in his room and wouldn't let his friend did try to take the dog back, but he wouldn't let her. And then eventually it was like he went on a ski trip, and when he came back, we thought like he had a few days to think about it, and he was, not mad anymore, and he was over it. He thought things through, but he came back and he was still insistent of raising that dog. And my mom and I, my mom came to talk to me privately, and she says that she doesn't want to have such a big responsibility that she didn't choose to have. And I agreed with her, and so it was like a moment where my mom communicated with my dad, and so he didn't like that. So then it was like he said that he was going to move out, and then that's when things got kind of serious, because before it was just small arguments, but then it was like he was going to move out, and then it was like getting into more arguments with my mom and sometimes fights, and eventually the topic of divorce came up, and my mom in the car told me not to bring it up to anyone, not to say this to anyone in the family, so I didn't. But of course it bothered me a lot, and so I've been trying to be careful around my dad, putting consideration into everything. Like, would this make him mad? Would this upset him? And today I went to piano class, and I came home and I lied to my mom and said I had a piano lesson. And I said, actually, that's not what happened. Like, I had to speak to my teacher because I felt like there was so much weight, and so when I came home, and it was like I tried to get my dog in. We have our own dog, so I tried to get him in my room for a few minutes, and when my mom said that don't do that and might anger your dad, I just felt like every small thing I do will anger him. And when the dog starts barking all the time, it puts me into shock, and I just felt like there was no escape. And like there were many times I just didn't know what to do, because my logic is to do something about it, but my dad would get mad at me for doing that thing, like getting the dog in. So it was just this constant battle of whether do you get the dog in like you're supposed to, or do you get into another fight with your dad? So eventually I just felt like so suffocated, because I felt like I couldn't do anything or say anything. And so then I just exploded, and let all of it out, and I packed my bags and I just left. And right now, all I can say is like I am waiting to move into my new apartment. I've always lived with my parents, so hopefully once I move into my new apartment, if things cool down, once things cool down, I'll be able to film again. But for now, I don't think I can film because I'm just not in the right mental state right now. So yeah, that's what's been going on. Thank you for listening.